Hi, everybody. I'm watching a show right now. It's called The Night Agent, and it's been coming up probably for the last week and a half. And I've been, like, I've seen the trailers, but it didn't feel like the right time for it. So today, as I was signing into Netflix on the TV, um, it automatically played. Like I didn't have to hit play. Yesterday it played automatically, but I got out of it because it, again, wasn't time yet. And if you're led to watch this show, there's a reason why would lead you to it. And so The Night Agent is about spies and the FBI and the White House and all this. It kind of goes hand in hand with the Madam Secretary show, which is another show I've been watching for years. And I kind of understand what God is telling me is going to be my next path. But this is an interesting situation. So he's showing me The Night Agent, and it's about this girl whose aunt and uncle were killed by some facet of the White House. They found out that there was an area of the FBI or the CIA that was doing things covertly to undermine the White House presidential system that was in place, regardless of what president was in house. They would go and depending on what things the president was for or against, if it did not go in line with what these individuals felt was the right thing or the right course of action, they would come in and they would take care of the situation their way. And because it was covert, no one really knew what was going on. Okay, so this girl is the niece of these two individuals that were killed by secret agents. And so she was given a number to call. And this is how God broke it down to me. He said, "My children are like this girl. I have secret agents protecting you and guiding you throughout your journey in the wilderness. You don't know who they are. You don't know where you are or where you're going to find them, but you will find them and they will find you. They are going to protect you. They have been protecting you." So, like, for example, and the reason I keep talking in like past, present, and future is because as you enter into your next season, as you enter into your next position, the secret agents change because they're now higher level agents. They are now higher level protectors. So you can't go in with the minimum clearance security guards. You have to elevate to the level of having someone who has more information and is able to guide you in the direction that you need to go. May it be through the position at work, may it be through the neighborhoods that you live in, may it be through your friendships, may it be through your different interactions with different people. Sometimes, and we've all seen the spy movies where you meet someone on the street and they give you a code word or they give you a phrase and it unlocks a whole amount of knowledge. And these are people that God has put in your path to ensure that you understand where you're going, to understand where you've been, to give you clarification on the roadmap that you've had and how the roadmap is going to change going forward. And I'm barely on the second episode of season 1. And this is how much revelation has come through. God is saying that as we step into our next level, our next season, the protection detail that we've had around us has got to change. And the reason it has to change is because we are now at a higher level position, and we need people who understand how to protect that level. You know, the way I see it in my life, and the way it's come about, is police officers. My lower level protection was the police officers. They would go before me to ensure that my path was clear. Everywhere I've been, everywhere I've gone, there has always been a police officer. Whether they're going the opposite direction of me, whether they've pulled over a vehicle or two in front of me, whether they're sitting on the side of the road watching me go by, God has put my protection detail along my path. Now my protection detail is going to come in closer. They're going to be more in circling me a little bit more intimately, because these are individuals that are going to be in the know of what my position is, and they're going to be my advisors. They're going to be my caretakers. They're going to be my spouse. They're going to be the individuals that are going to help me develop into the next position that God has already put in me to be, because He's had me in places where I'm walking with people who are in an elevated state, not necessarily walking with Him, but He wants me to understand what I'm going to be coming into, what I'm going to be coming up against. And so the individuals around me have to also change, because now I need a closer knit group of individuals that I can feel secure with. This is why He's telling me it is imperative that you learn to trust again, that you learn that I am going to guide you, and I am going to provide you with the individuals who should be in your life. And all of it is going to be according to my plan, according to my ways. And every time that I have been obedient, every time I have been faithful, even though I don't understand why things didn't happen the way He was guiding me, it's all a walk of faith. If I'm not willing to follow Him in the things that I don't understand, then in the things that I do understand, I am going to find it that much harder to follow His path. And it's funny, because this is part of the revelation that I received from yesterday. So yesterday I came on the video and I asked for support. I asked for financial support. And I thought, like before, God was going to guide someone to put money in my hand. Well, it didn't happen that way. When I got to work, I kid you not. Okay, from 4 to 6 o'clock, I was by myself. There was no one else, just me and the managers. From 4 to 6, every person that did a tip, it was a $5 tip. God's grace. And I ended up yesterday with $47. Not only was I able to buy my dog food for my dog, I was able to get a few more groceries. Nothing lavish. I mean, I could show you in the refrigerator. I have bread. I have turkey and ham. I have I was able to buy some taquitos yesterday morning before I got the money, and I had a a chicken parmesan lasagna, and I had that before I went to work. And I bought an avocado, and I bought I bought cheese, and I bought I still have $4 left. And he said, put those $4 in your Bible, because I am going to make those $4 grow. Now it's interesting, because the number 40 has been following me. If we drop the 0, as Tara says, that's the number 4, the number of the chosen. But there is also another meaning to that number, and that is open doors. God is about to open doors for me. God is about to open an area of calm, of peace, of financial security, of personal protection, personal security that I have never, ever felt before. And as I'm laying here on this bed, watching TV, and just the word from the Bible, from simple beginnings, great riches. If I showed you the exterior of this RV, the people that own this RV, the man has a heart condition. God had me pray over him to heal his heart, to heal his body, because he's at a 4 category heart failure. I've never heard of that. So he has to be very careful with his heart and with his activity. And one of the ways that they make money is by renting out the RV that they have in their backyard. They also have a small guest house that is next door to their house, which they also are renting out. And it is a single lady, an older lady, but it is a single lady, and now I'm here in this RV. And these monies that they're making help supplement his income because he can't work. And so God led me to pray for him and to ask for healing in his heart and in his body. And this RV is an RV that I've always wanted. It's the Avion, but there's another name for it. It's the all silver metal type of RV. It's old school, but inside it is so spacious and so big. And there is a full-size bathroom in the back with a full shower, a tub. Unfortunately, because of the way they have it set up, if I take a shower or a bath, they'll have to drain the tank. And so there's an outdoor shower, which is amazing because I love being out in nature. It's very fully protected. There's a tree over it, so you can't see anything. But it is just like God to bring me the things that I find make me happy. And I mean, to the point that there is this cute little coffee pot, okay, that plugs into the outlet, and within seconds the water gets hot. And the way I see myself is I prefer to refurbish or reuse or look at the old things in a new way. I love going antiquing. I love going and seeing how to better use something from the past in the present, and not necessarily discard things because they're not new anymore. And God has been bringing so much of this into my life that it is sometimes overwhelming, and it's awestruck. And I have been asking God about time, and I have been saying, I need to understand your time versus my time. And it is so interesting because he's finally answering me these words through some of the prophets that I listened to. Dion Inez today posted a video about God's time and how it's later than our soonest, but sooner than our later. And I started to think about what I was thinking about at that time that I asked God. And in the reality of things, we sometimes think that God is going to instantaneously give us what he's promised. But in reality, in order for him to give us what he's promised, he has to ensure that we are not going to squander it, that we are not going to lose it to Lucifer and to the enemy. So he has to make sure that our heart posture and our minds and our eyes and our ears are in a way that are going to be able to maintain and flourish in that thing that God promised us. Because if we were to just say, for example, marriage, I was in a really, really bad marriage. It didn't start out that way. But by the end, I was so heartbroken. I was so tarnished by the things that had happened to me in that marriage. I had a bad taste about children, about the way that my life went with my ex-husband. But part of it was that I gave too much. It wasn't an equal partnership. It wasn't a partnership of, okay, I support you, I give you love, I give you guidance, or I give you ideas. It was, I'll give, but you don't give back. And then I began to get bitter. I began to get angry. And because I was becoming angry and bitter, I said things, I did things out of my flesh. I said things, I did things out of my own hand instead of looking to God and asking God how, and letting God take care of it. And that's what he's been teaching me, how to let God take care of it. Even the people that don't like me at work, I don't go to them and be like, oh, I can't believe you didn't teach me this, or you didn't train me that, or I can't believe you don't like me, or you talk about me, or you made rumors about me. God said, leave it to me. So all I do is pray. And now these individuals go out of their way to give me things, food, money. I'm like, they're giving me their shifts. I'm like, okay. But it's because I'm allowing God. I'm allowing God to do it, not me. God is coming through. I can't change someone's mind. I can't change someone's heart. I can't turn someone to God. I can only stand there as a vessel and allow God to use my presence to irritate and to push these spirits around. But it's not me. It's the God in me. And the more I surrender, the more I give up control, the more I allow God to move without interference, without, sometimes I do have these thoughts of, oh, I can't stand this person. And I repent. I'm sorry, Father. I know it's not them. I know it's the spirits behind them. Please forgive me. Let your will be done. And I try to talk to these people with cordialness, and I don't bring them into my inner circle. I don't go out with them. I don't hang out with them. I don't, I'll share my experiences. I'll share my knowledge with them, and I'll tell them God's the difference. God is the difference in my life. And you know what? They're beginning to see it. They're beginning to see that God is the difference. In fact, last night, the girl that was working with me, I made a comment to her. I'm like, is it just me, or does it feel like people are being very generous today? She goes, I know. It's crazy. And I said this to her. It feels like God has opened their purses to give us tips today. And she looked at me and she goes, you're right. She didn't. Normally, I would have already taken the tips out of the jar because God would have led me to it. He said, no, wait. And when she got there and she came around the corner and I said, hey, did you put any tips in the tip jar? And she goes, no, it's all you. She didn't question me about taking the tips. She didn't argue with me about taking the tips. Last night, God gave us, the two of us, $12 a piece. Originally, it was only $7 a piece. But she took $5 out of the tip jar without me seeing her. And as I was counting out the money, splitting it up, and I told her, I said, I don't like splitting the tip money without having the person that's on shift present. And she goes, oh, I trust you. I said, I understand, but it's respect. I want you to see exactly what I'm doing, because I don't want there to be any misunderstandings. And she goes, why would you say that? I said, honestly, because there's money coming up missing out of the registers, and I don't want to give the appearance of having anything covert happening. And she goes, oh, okay. As I'm telling her this, a man walks up and gives us each $5. And she looks at me like, really? You couldn't have left earlier? God told me, don't worry. Don't hurry. Take your time. Before that, I had gone and told her, hey, the boss hasn't sent me home yet. So I'm going to stick around. I'm going to help you as much as I can so that you can get done early, because I know you're tired. She went to the back. She goes, no, go ahead. Go see if he'll let you go home. And I'm like, all right. So I went to the back to talk to the manager, but he was on the phone. I don't like interrupting people when they're on the phone. It's called respect. That's what God is saying. Be respectful. Don't interrupt. He's having an important conversation. And the reason that a conversation was taking place is because there's stealing going on. And they have their suspects. They don't believe that it's their tenured staff that's doing the stealing. It's their newer staff. And I'm newer than most of the people there. So they've blamed me for the missing money. But God already showed me who it is. And they're about to catch her. They're about to catch her red-handed. So I went to the boss. This is before the whole conversation about clocking out and, going home for the day. And this is before the money, splitting the money. So I like using a specific register. It's the middle register. Everybody knows that. And the boss came to me early in the day and said, hey, can you do me a favor? Okay, I know you like using the middle register. Can you just stay on that register for the most part? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And then he goes and uses the middle register. And I'm like, and I told him that. I'm like, okay, you just had this conversation about me using only the middle register, and then you go and use the middle register so I can't be on it. And he looked at me and he goes, I know, right? And so, anyway, at the end of the shift, I said, how did my drawer come out? And he goes, you ended up 5 cents over. I go, okay, all right. That means I gypped someone 5 cents. And so then I went and I cleaned tables. Because here's the thing. This isn't my job. I wasn't closing last night. I was pre-closing. So I had certain areas that I needed to clean. But because this girl was doing other things and not cleaning her tables, not clearing the messes of the people that were eating after they were done, I was having to go and clean up these tables. I was having to run the registers. I was having to run, the phone lines. And then she goes, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that the phone was ringing because I was in the back. I'm like, that's okay. I got it. So I'm done cleaning the table. I'm done spreading everything out. And I'm walking back towards the kitchen. And the boss looks at me and he says, I was wrong. I recounted the drawer. You came out even. I'm like, good. I said, from now on, I'm going to start asking how the drawer came out. Because I don't like not knowing that my drawers are fine. And he goes, okay, if you were stealing, you're not going to ask us to do that, to tell you what your drawer's doing. Plus, you're not the only one using that drawer. And he goes, okay. So again, these are the protection detail that God has had. Since I've been working here, this man has covered me, protected me from the antics and the 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 anger of the other girls, because I'm getting hours and because I'm doing things that they wanted to be ruling the roost, so to speak. And here I come in and immediately throw everything out the window. And so now they're having to change their ways in order to keep me from continuing to advance. But because this person protects me, covers me, when they had to come up with a new scheme, and now this money starts coming up missing, and it's on the drawers that I'm using. So now they're looking at me, but I have nothing to fear because I've got God. And God told me, you will be vindicated. I will win this battle. The battle has already been won. So all I'm doing is following God and doing what he says to do. I'm not going outside of his will. I'm not trying to defend myself. I'm not even nothing. I am actually just following his lead. So I go back and I tell this. I was about to ask if it was okay for me to leave. The manager was on the phone with another manager. They were talking about my drawer. And he said, no, her drawer came out fine. So they're like, okay, all right. So as they're doing that, God goes, okay, go get the lettuce and tomato and the things that I told you to go get. I'm like, okay. So I did. I went, I put some lettuce, tomato, pepperoncinis, red onions, some cheese. And then I put it under my purse, and I went and I grabbed some dressings and I put those by my purse. And the girl, I came around the corner and I said, oh, he's on the phone right now, so I'm just going to wait till he's done. And she goes, oh. And she walked right back to the office. And she goes, hey, can Nana go home now? And he's like, yeah, she can go. And so she came up to me and she goes, yeah, he said, do it. And I was like, okay. But I thought it was kind of strange that she's like running me out the door. And that's when God brought this gentleman, and he gave 2 $5 bills. And she was disappointed that I was still there. So she just set the money down because she knew that she had to split the $5 with me. So at the end of the night, God gave us each $17. I thought it was, yeah, because it was 12 before, and it ended up being $17 with the $10 split, with the $5. So that's how I was able to get the $40, the $47 that I needed to be able to buy food, to be able to buy my dog food. And I thought it was going to come one way, but he gave it to me a whole completely another way. But had I not been obedient and done what he had asked, it wouldn't have come to me that way. So obedience is key. There's a reason he sets these things in our path so that we will be obedient. And he's already shown me that this manager is going to become a friend when I'm no longer part of that store. How much longer I'll be there, I don't know. But I am seeing the signs. Things have already happened that are similar to the wilderness that I was in. And he had given me revelation back then when I was in California that this wasn't the air, that where I was at was not the place of my milk and honey, the place of my blessings. That was like a trial run, so that I would understand when my true blessings came in, what they would look like. And then tea time with Jesus by Ariel Sparks, she mentioned that every 4 weeks would be a reset. And I can tell you that it has happened. Every 4 weeks has been a reset. Sunday the 24th is going to be another reset. I don't know what it's going to look like on the other side. But I had to walk through this door. Every time I walk through a door, God has me wait. He gets me to the place early. And then I rest and wait for him to open that door. But in waiting for that door to open, there are things that I have to be obedient about in order to get those doors to open. Because God's not going to open the doors if I'm not obedient. Or the door won't open quite as much as if I had been obedient. Maybe it'll be a little creak and I'll have to do more work. So the more obedient I am, the more I follow his guidance, the more I do the things that he's asking me to do, the wider that door will open. The more light that will come through that door. The better the as I enter into that new blessing, into that new season, into that new door, the less obstacles are in my way to go through. And I am just in awe of God and how he's doing things. So if you have reservations about what God is telling you to do, don't. I can tell you in my walk, I have walked away from the world and the way the world expects you to pay for things. The world expects you to have a high-paying job in order to have a good home. The world expects you to pay a high cost for your home in order to have a good home. The world expects you to have a high expensive car and pay extreme prices. The world requires you to pay high gas prices because you're driving a gas car. All of that is going to change. All of it is going to not exist for God's chosen ones, for his people, for the ones who follow the path that he lays